Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Original Huughes, known in the RuneScape community as Origin Huughes, and my close friends call me James. So in this video I'm going to be showing you how to download and install RuneScape. That's the old school RuneScape version. I'm going to be showing you how to do that on desktop as well as on mobile. It's going to be quite a long video, so if you are new here, don't forget, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future content. I'm going to be doing a lot more guides like this in the future to help out people that are going to be coming to the game. I also have a brand new account from scratch series on my channel, as well as a hardcore Iron Man series. So if you do want to check them out, I'll make sure to link them on screen now for you. But anyway, enough about that. So Old School RuneScape finally got released onto mobile, and with that I imagine we're going to get a huge influx of brand new players, people that have either never played the game before or people that have played it and taken a severe break and then want to come back and get into it. So first thing I'm going to tell you is RuneScape is an MMORPG. It's a very good game. There's a huge community behind it. I have my own very small community, as well as there are other YouTubers and streamers and stuff who have their own communities as well. But as a whole, the community is quite a nice place to be. And I must admit, I'm very proud to be part of the OSRS community. So I think first we're going to start off with downloading the desktop version of the game. Now I have uninstalled it completely on my machine, so I can go through it with you as you would. So first of all, you want to open up an internet browser. I personally use Google Chrome, so I'm just going to be using Chrome for this. And you can type in OSRS, or what you can do is type in Old School RuneScape or something. But you want to make sure you go to this exact hyperlink. So it's oldschool.runescape.com. If you click onto that, you'll notice up here you have a download Old School RuneScape. Click on that, and then depending on what version you're on, obviously I'm on a Windows machine, so I want to download the Windows client. If you are on a Mac, download the Mac client. As you can see here, it is just downloading. I downloaded one previously before, just to double check everything was clear on my machine. If however it's not showing down here and you're not too sure it has downloaded, if you just go to your file explorer, just go into downloads, you'll notice that the MSI should be in here. If you are running it from here, just right click and click install, or you can double click it, and of course if it is popping up down here, just click it once and you will get this. Make sure you check over the licensing agreement first, accept it of course, and then click install. This will then install everything for you, and it will take you to the RuneScape site as well on the internet. So you click finish on this. Congratulations, and now we can play it. You can do this, but what I would do is recommend just closing out of your internet browser. So as you can see, there is a desktop shortcut there. If you just double click on that, that will begin to load the Old School RuneScape official clients. Now there are third-party clients out there, and I myself do use a third-party client, but a quick disclaimer, you don't have to use one. The Old School RuneScape client is by far the most popular, as far as I am aware. As well, Jagex doesn't really have an official statement yet on third-party clients. However, if you are going to use one, I would personally recommend either RuneLite or OS Buddy. They're the ones that I have used personally, and I think they're great clients, as well as Conduit as well. I think that's another one that people use. No one's getting banned from using these clients, and Jagex seem okay with it. However, for this demonstration, I'm going to be using the Old School RuneScape clients. Okay, fingers crossed this goes pretty well and we don't end up leaking all of our information. So, Old School RuneScape for the mobile version is only out on Android as of the 11th of July 2018. It might be out on iOS by the time this gets released, but I highly doubt it. And they might be releasing it later on. But at the moment, I'm going to be showing you how to download this on an Android operating system. So what you need to do is head over to the RuneScape homepage, which you can go to by going down to Google and then just going to Old School RuneScape. Now again, same address as before, so oldschool.runescape.com. Make sure you go to the official site, and then once it loads up, just zoom in where it says download client, like it was before, exactly like it is on desktop. Click on mobile, and then you'll get taken to this here. Now if you scroll down to the bottom, a little bit further up, there you go. So as you can see here, it says Android members beta, or beta if you are American. So if you just click on that there, it'll take you directly to the App Store where you can download and install it. Now make sure you do it from this link. Don't download any other way that you know of or your friends have told you. Make sure you do it this way. It's by Jagex Game Studios. It's PEGI 16. It's Old School RuneScape unreleased. It's got 100,000 downloads right now. It's got a rating of basically 5 stars, which is amazing. So this is what it looks like. So if you do not have an account already, you need to click on new user here. Again, this will direct you to the Jagex homepage where you can just create a brand new account, email address, password, a display name that you want to be known as in-game. Unfortunately, there is a character limit. I believe it is 12. That's why my name is Origin Huughes in-game rather than Original Huughes. But, you know, things can't be helped. Hopefully they'll change that in the future. Your date of birth and then any preferences you have, and just say you're not a robot. You'll go through that. It'll sign you in, so you'll create an account and then you can either get membership straight away or you can not get membership. We'll go over the benefits of that later on. But once you've created a brand new account, click on existing user, and as you can see there, my username is hashed out. So if I just get rid of this real quickly, if I type in my username, which is Origin Huughes, that's obviously not my email address. However, if you don't want people to be able to see this, for example, if you're a streamer or a YouTuber, you can just click hide username and it'll just hide whatever your username is. So I'm quickly going to type in my username up here. And then once I've done that, I'll click hide username. And then at the bottom, you want to type in whatever your password is. And then just click login. Alright, now you have logged into your account, you will always be greeted with this screen. You'll get a welcome to RuneScape, and then when you last logged in. Now that's always good to know, because if you haven't logged in for a couple of days and it says you were last logged in like earlier today or yesterday, then you know your account has been compromised. So make sure that you obviously change your password and stuff. Now, speaking very quickly about account security before we go any further, make sure that you have a secure password. You never ever share your password with anyone, no matter how close you think they are as a friend. It's just not worth it. Jagex will not help you if your account is hijacked. Obviously, they can lock your account, but if you're giving your password to a friend and then they've logged in and hacked you, Jagex will never give you your items back. They have a stance on that, and I believe that's a very good way of doing it. Obviously, then they're not getting messed about by people obviously putting in fake requests and stuff. And I just think I think that's the best way to do it, to be fair. But make sure you keep your account secure. And the other way to secure your account is to use the mobile authenticator. This is basically just a 2-factor authentication, which again you can set up from the RuneScape website. Make sure you go over there. I'll show you quickly how to do that in a second. Alright, so quickly, to enable your authenticator, you want to head back over to the Old School RuneScape website. Again, that is oldschool.runescape.com. And then where it says account down here, see where it says enable authenticator? Click on that. That will then take you to this page. Make sure you click setup and then run through the setup information. Right, back onto the client then. So as you can see up here, it says never tell anyone your password, even if they claim they work for Jagex. Jagex will never ask for your password, and neither should anyone else, to be fair. Your messaging center here, you can click on this and it will redirect you to the RuneScape account page, or your account page, should I say. The only times they'll ever really message you though is to do with either you have renewed your membership, so they'll say thank you for renewing your membership, blah blah blah, or if you are caught macroing or using something else, basically an offensive name or anything like that, then they'll send you a message to say you've changed your name, or stop botting, or we'll ban you. Whether you have a bank pin or not, always would recommend setting up a bank pin, and then how many days of membership you have left, if you have membership at all, and then a message of the week depending on what the update's been and what's coming out and stuff like that. So this is always good to keep up to date with the game. If you click on that, again, it will take you to the RuneScape homepage where you can read over the bug fixes and whatever else. So you just click here to play, pretty self-explanatory. If you are a brand new account, you will not spawn here where I am. You will have to go through Tutorial Island first. So to do Tutorial Island, all you do basically, you'll get a character select screen where you can pick your gender and stuff like that. You can only pick male and female, so people who are gender confused, I'm sorry. You'll have to pick one of those. And then you go through and just select what colour hair you want, what colour skin you want, what clothing items you want, again, colours, blah blah blah. Don't worry though guys, you can change this later on. So as well, on Tutorial Island, right towards the end, you'll notice these guys wandering around. You got Juan, you got Paul, and then you got Adam. So I know Paul and Adam are based on real life streamers. Paul is known as Fo, and Adam is known as Boaty. Where is he? There he is, with his purple hair. That's my charity stream we did a while back. Wow. Yeah, anyway, these are Iron Man accounts. Now, if you're new to the game, I would not recommend doing an Iron Man account, just because you have to do everything self-sufficient. You cannot trade anyone. But I'm not going to go into those game modes just yet. If you're interested, like I said, I've got a hardcore Iron Man series on my channel. Make sure you check it out. Anyway, once you've finished Tutorial Island, again, if you're brand new to the game, make sure you sit through the tutorial, read it, understand it. It gives you a very basic understanding of the game. It's probably about 0.01% of the game you'll understand from that, but it gives you an oversight of like what cooking is, fishing, basically different skills, what quests are, basically just little things about the overlay, which I don't have to go into at the moment. The only thing I'm really going to show you in this episode, or this video should I say, is how to customize your client. So you'll notice that when you first log in, your client is going to look roughly something like this. Now, I don't like how this looks. I think it's very small on my screen, and I don't know, I just prefer to have mine set as this. So I'm going to show you how I set up my config and my client, as well as quickly do you an oversight of the map, a bit of free to play and stuff, and I'll get into all that in a second. So let's start off with by customizing the client config itself. So when you first come off Tutorial Island, if you click on the little spanner down here, you can do this whilst you're on Tutorial Island, but I'll just wait until you get off it, and then obviously just look at this video again. So click on the little spanner down here, and then you have fixed mode, which is what we're currently in. And then if you click on this one here, it allows you to change the window to fill whatever area you have it selected to. So technically with this, you can have it full screen if you like, but just use the little corners and stuff to drag it about, find a happy medium where you would like it to be. As well, if you go into your advanced options, again, these are some options I would recommend you play about with yourself and see what you prefer. So quickly, let me just jump to my inventory screen as well, so I can show you a little bit better. So if you have a look over here, my scroll bar for my chat is on the left hand side. By default it will be on the right hand side. I have mine on the left though, however, just because I like it like that. You can also have resizable mode side panel. Opaque, which means you cannot see through it, and then you can have it as transparent so you can see through it. Now you cannot click through this. However, down here you have a chat box option. That will make the chat box transparent. You can click through this. What I would say though is if you're struggling to see the text and stuff down here, like I struggle to see the colored text and things, you can just turn that back on to opaque, which means you cannot see through it, which is personally what I prefer. And then there's just a few other little things in here. So for example, you see where it says remaining XP down there? If you don't want to show that anymore, you can turn it off. Originally RuneScape didn't have that back in 2007, so they've added it in just because people wanted it. You also have prayer tooltips, which I'm not going to go through, as well as special. Basically, you can have, like, when you have a weapon equipped, you can hover over what the special attack is if it has the option to have a special attack, and it'll tell you what it does. There's remove roofs. I always have mine as off because I like to be able to see as much of the map as possible. But if you don't like the blackness in the background, having the roofs on sort of like negates that a little bit and doesn't make it look as bad or as daunting, I suppose. You can also have the orbs up here. You can have them on or off. Now, back in RuneScape again, these were off. These were not a thing back in 2007. I believe they were added towards the end of 2007, maybe 2008. I'm not entirely sure though. But as you can see there, just enable them, and you can see special attack bar, run energy, your prayer points, and your hit points. I think that is an amazing feature, so well done again to Jagex. Moving on to the... Oh, actually, is that... Yeah, that's everything. The only other things you got here really is your zoom, which I don't see anyone really using these days. You can use your mouse wheel to scroll in and out. So moving your camera as well, you can use the arrow keys. Personally, I would always click in the middle mouse button and then just move your mouse left and right, up and down, so on and so forth. And that is how I personally navigate. And I think a lot of people do these days, to be fair. You also have your brightness. By default, I believe it is set to this. Now, I had it like this for a good part of 5 to 10 years maybe, and then recently when I came back, I turned it up to full brightness, and now I prefer it like that. So again, that is just a preference thing. You have accepts aid on in here, which means people can teleport you and heal you and stuff like that. Personally, I would recommend turning that off for now until you know a little bit more about the game. as there are some people out there that will try and teleport you into the wilderness. Now the wilderness is a place where players can kill other players, so just take my word for it. For now, turn it off until you know what you're doing. You have your house options here. Yes, in RuneScape you do have your own house. Again though, I'm not going to go over them in that video just because it would take far too long. Over here in this panel you have your sound. So you got music volume, and then this is like sound effects, and then this is like sound effects around you. So this is like your area sound effects, so you can hear other people attacking things. This is more like you attacking things and you interacting with objects, and then obviously that's just your music. Moving on to this option, so you'll notice if I type in, for example, flash 1 and then a colon and then just do test, you'll notice how it flashes. There are different ones. There's flashes, scrolls. I can't remember all of them exactly off the top of my head, but if you don't want that, say you have epilepsy and it's photosensitive and that might set you off, just turn that off and then you'll be fine. They won't show anymore in the chat. You also have a split private chat, so when people private message you and stuff, it will by default everything goes into this box here. Now that's not a lot, especially if you're in a clan or something as well, and you want to see your private messages separately. They'll appear up here instead in this area in a light blue cyan text. I actually really like having it like that, and I've always wanted it like that, so I have mine like that and no other way. You can hide your private chat as well when your chat box is hidden, because obviously you can just hide the chat box whenever you want. And then you got your profanity filter, so if you are a sensitive soul, make sure you turn that on so you don't get offended by people saying naughty words. We'll just leave that there. And then you can configure certain game notifications with this, so you'll get a notification down in the box here if you have a value on item, so it drops the value over 5k. Now I've been on mobile recently, so I've had that set to 5k, but I'm going to change that back to 75k, which is what I personally normally have it set to. You change those to whatever you like. If you want to be notified when you get untradeable loot, that's for things like long bones, very rare items as well sometimes, make sure you turn that on so you'll get a notification in the chat box when you get that. You also have boss kill counts down here, so that means every time you kill a boss you will get an update in the chat box saying you've killed so many of a certain type of boss, and then a warning before you drop any items over a set value. Right, so let's head back to the menus, and then this is just your login timer and stuff and notifier. So you'll be notified before you log out. Every 6 hours you'll be forced to log out of the game. That's Jagex's way of basically saying get off your computer, go outside and get a bit of fresh air. But you can obviously just log straight back in again, but shh, don't tell Jagex that. And then you have your display name down here. You can change your display name through this. You get one per month if you're a member, or you can use a bond to do it straight away. Now a bond is something you can use to redeem for in-game membership as well. So if you don't want to pay for it with real money, you can earn money in the game and then buy a bond and then use that bond for membership, effectively getting membership for free. Again, that's not something I'm going to go into too much detail about this video. Moving on to the joystick. So over here you have the mouse buttons, so you can enable both mouse buttons, so you can use the right click and then the left click. So you can just use left click to walk places or to interact with an NPC or so on and so forth, or you can have it set up to basically right click everything when you first click. So as you can see, when I click on the Lumbridge guide, you can click normally on the floor because there's only one option there, and that's to walk here. But if you click on like a NPC like a rat, you will never attack it straight away, or you will never talk to someone straight away. It will always give you the option as if you right clicked. Personally, just always having two mouse buttons on, that's my personal preference. The middle mouse button, this is what I was mentioning before, that can move. If you don't have that on, you can't use the middle mouse button to move about. It just counts as a left click, which is a shame. But obviously with that on, you can move it about as much as you need to. You can get pets in this game, so sometimes you might not want to be able to click on your pets. Obviously you need to feed them and stuff if it's a cat. And then sometimes if it's just another NPC pet, you don't want to be clicking on it if you're doing a boss or something, so you can make sure that your left click option is always click through your pet. So here you have a shift drop. So if you have something in your inventory, rather than right clicking it and then clicking drop, you can literally, tell you what, let me grab some bones off this goblin real quick. I was going to say this would be really awkward if I couldn't kill it. So let's pick up some stuff off this goblin, and then you'll notice that if I right click it I have to use right click and then click to drop. Now, if you have a big inventory full of things, that can take a while. And as well with some things, you'll notice you have more than one option or two options. Bones have a berry option. However, if you have shift click enabled, you can hold down shift and it will change the left click option to drop. As long as you don't drag the item, it will drop it on the floor. That's going to be really helpful when you're doing certain... I keep clicking that. That's going to be really helpful when you're doing certain skills and things. But yeah, very, very useful thing to have on. And then F keys. So if you're on a keyboard and you're using a keyboard and mouse, you can use the F keys to switch between certain tabs down here. So for example, if I want to use my inventory and prayer, I don't have to keep clicking between them. I can still use my mouse over here, but I can use my F keys to switch between them, which is really, really useful. So what I'll do is I'll quickly show you what I have mine set up to. If you want to copy these, feel free to. You're more than welcome to. And as well, if you want to be able to use escape to close any current open interface, for example, if you have a bank open or a shop, general store, or even interfaces like this, click on this button here and that will make sure that escape will also do that for you. And then down here you just have your player attack options. I always have mine as hidden. Again, there is a wilderness and you can attack players. I would just leave that to hidden. I think by default it is depends on the combat level or something like that, but like I said, I have mine as hidden. And then your NPC attack options, I have mine as left click where available. That's pretty much it. As you'll have gone over in the tutorial, these are your combat stances and stuff. So this one will give you attack XP, as it says, strength XP, defense XP, and so on. You get different attack styles and stuff depending on different weapons. This is your stat screen. I'm not going to go over each individual stat. If you would like me to do a video on skilling and stats and how you train stuff, then please drop a comment down below and I'll be sure to make a guide on that. I would love to make a guide on that and help you guys out as much as possible, but only obviously if you guys want it. Here you have your quest log, as well as your diary log, Zaya favor, which again I don't have time to go over in this video, it's already quite long. Achievement diaries, things like that. And your minigame teleports as well. You have your inventory, 28 slots in there. You have your equipment, obviously what your stats currently are in regards to attack bonuses, defense bonuses, and any other bonuses you may have. You have a price checker in there, which comes in very handy, and you can also search for items in here. So for example, twisted bow at the moment is 1.2 bill, which is probably one of the most expensive things you can actually buy on the Grand Exchange at the moment. What you lose on death, very good to read that, and then if you have a follower, it'll call it to you. Your prayer, again, pretty self-explanatory. You have spell books. Currently I'm on a lunar spell book. There are, I think there's 4, there's a normal, ancients, archaeus, and lunar. So yeah, there's 4 different spell books currently in the game. Again, if you want me to make a video on anything about that, please let me know. Your friends list, your ignore list, my clan chat, a clan chat. I would say I always recommend jumping into mine. It's just Origin Huughes. If you are brand new to the game, you'll see this. So just click join clan chat and just type in Origin, if I can spell my own name, Origin Huughes, and then that'll join you in here. There's no requirement to join in here. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask anyone in here. They're a very friendly bunch and they don't bite too hard, so don't worry. Again, your settings we mentioned before, you have some emotes and then your music tracks. The only other thing I need to show you guys is down here, you have different filters and stuff. I'd recommend going through and looking at them. You have game filters and things like that. Make sure you turn your game filter on. It's a pain if it's not, because otherwise you just get spammed in the chat box. So yeah, make sure you turn your filters on and stuff. Have it however you like it. I personally have mine set to this. I would have that set to all, but because of the YouTube and stuff, I get quite a few people sending me messages, and I don't want to be rude to absolutely everyone, but I just cannot reply to everyone. So that's why my private is always set to friends. If you want to message me, jump in the CC. But the last thing I need to show you now is the map. So yeah, there is an absolutely huge map. It is ridiculous how big this map is, and Jagex has done a really, really good job of getting this map up to date with all the dungeons and whatever else. I believe it was Modash that set this up, but I'm not entirely sure. But it was Modash. Well done, mate. Again, you've done a fantastic job on this game. Here you have all your keys and stuff. Again, look through these, read them. If you need to know where a herbalist shop is, or a hunter shop, or a fishing shop, there's general stores. There is all sorts. You can click on them and they will take you to one, or highlight them like that. They are absolutely amazing things to use. As well, if you're not too sure where somewhere is, you can just search it down here. So say people keep telling you about Varrock, you need to know how to get there. Varrock, press enter, it'll show you where it is on the map, and you can just zoom out, see where you are in correlation to it, and then work out how to get there. The mapping system is pretty easy to use in this game. Like I mentioned before, there is a members and a free-to-play section. So Personally, I would always say just jump on free to play and see how you like it. But free to play is absolutely nothing like members. Members is a completely different world. It's not as packed. You have so many more dedicated servers you can jump onto. You get access to 100% of the game. It is freaking amazing. You can use all the skills. I honestly cannot big up members enough. You get so many more quests and so many more things. If you need me to do an in-depth guide on that, then please, again, just drop a comment down below and I'll go through the differences between members and free to play and everything that you get. Alright, and that is pretty much it from me. This has been a very, very long guide to make. So like I said, if you did like it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future content. Make sure you click that bell icon so you get a notification, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.